So I had an idea, well, I didn't, the comment section did, and I stole it. Shamelessly. The idea was to go with a puncture and code hybrid and basically just go all out on crit, because puncture makes enemies easier to crit and code adds extra crit damage. Now I've tried this on a few different weapons and I wasn't quite happy with the result until I landed on the Hystrix Prime. You see, the Hystrix Prime is a funky little secondary that does primarily puncture damage with just a tiny bit of slash and impact, and it has a 28% crit chance, a 2.2 times crit multiplier, and a 20% status chance. But that's not why I chose it. I chose it because the Hystrix has a very cool unique mechanic where you can switch between 4 different types of quills: heat, electricity, cold, and toxin. Now, changing between the quills doesn't change the stats at all. The only thing it does is it changes the forced proc of your shots. So if you choose a cold-based quill, you will force proc cold. And that's perfect for this idea that, well, you had. So let's give it a shot. The idea here is pretty simple. We just switch to the cold quill and use that, and then we don't have to worry about proccing cold at all. We can just focus on puncture. I think Cucumber is going to be really big here because of Galvanized Shot, but also because we're always proccing something, right? So we always have a chance to roll the extra effect from Cucumber. Now, because we're running Cucumber, we don't have any base damage, so Hornet Strike it is, as well as Galvanized Diffusion. We definitely want to run Galvanized Crosshairs for the extra crit chance. Then we go Galvanized Shot. And Prime Target Cracker. Lovely. Let's get Letha Torrent for the Fire It and Moody shot. That's going to be good. And I would also like to run a Creeping Bullseye. There we go. Go big or go home. All the crits. I'm not entirely sure if I want to run Frostbite or not here. You know what? I want to try it. So let's slap a D right here. There we go. The reason I kind of want to double down on Code is because freezing the enemies makes them take way more crit damage. Also, we can put something in the Exilus, a Lethal Momentum. If I remember correctly, the darts are pretty fast, so I don't think we necessarily need this. So maybe we go with Steady Hands. Whoops, yes, please. There we go, Steady Hands. Wowee, this freezes them super duper fast, and the damage is actually quite lovely, though to be fair, these are just Butchers and Scorpions. What about you, Big Mama? Oh! Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah, this actually works surprisingly well, considering we're not stripping any armor at all. Look at that. That's quite good. Very interesting. This works much better than expected. Like, I was worried about not having enough, like, base damage, because normally you go with at least 2 elemental mods, usually 3. So only having 1 felt a bit awkward, but this seems absolutely fine. I have a dumb idea. What if we just run Sharpened Bullets and no elemental damage at all? Yeah, that's a weird build. Oh, that's funky. But I mean, it works. Look at it. It do the damage. It do the damage indeed. This is a cursed build. My god. I can imagine this being pretty dope on something like Lavos though. Yeah, I think we're gonna stick to the like no Ellie mod school guy build. That's way more fun. I'm gonna try this with Harold as well. Oh, bloody hell, that's some damage, my dudes and dudettes. Yeah, no ramp up, even with the wrong quill. This is just tremendous. Good job, comment section. This is terrific. Like, imagine this with like Lavos or Venom Dose or Smite Infusion, something that gives you base damage, like base elemental damage. This is gonna be ridiculous. It's not gonna be as good at streamlining the status to mostly proc puncture and cold, but I don't think that's gonna be a big problem. I like this an awful lot. Oh, that's not half bad. It's not amazing, but I've seen worse. Like, much worse. This is more than good enough. Very good. Man, corpus are such an embarrassment nowadays. Good God, lads. What about an Eximus? Yuck. This kind of reminds me of like the old slash builds. Well, old slash builds. You can still do them nowadays, but the one weapon that comes to mind is the Atarax. On the Atarax, you would just go for damage, range, crit damage, and slash, and nothing else. You would have no elemental damage at all. And Meme Strike, obviously. The one downside here is that it's primarily a single target weapon, but it fires really fast, so it doesn't feel bad, or as bad as some of the other single target focused weapons. It doesn't feel as good or funny as firing Tsar with a bunch of blast damage on it, I'll tell you that, but it's fun enough. Hello, Torment. Sit down. Oh, I love Code for Acolytes. The solo is so good. Seems pretty universally good as well. I mean, we've tried to corrupt it, which are weak to puncture, to be fair. but it was good. We've tried the Corpus, and it was good. Now the Kuva Grenier, and it's, surprisingly enough, good. I don't think it's the best way to build a Hystrix, but it's definitely one of the ways you can build a Hystrix. Oh, you know what just popped into my mind? On the Hystrix, what you could do is go Corrosive and Blast, and then run an Electricity Coil. Ooh, that could be very fun. Feel free to try that as well, though fitting it in is gonna be a bit of a challenge. It might require Riven, in fact. Yeah, I think we're done here. This is just good. It works. It was a fun idea, and it worked out. Tremendous. So here's a very weird build for the Hystrix that somehow just works, and it works pretty well. We have Hornet Strike for damage, Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot, Galvanized Crosshairs for crit chance, Galvanized Shot for status chance and condition overload. Then we have Prime Target Cracker for crit damage, Creeping Bullseye for more crit chance, Sharpened Bullets for more crit damage, and we top it off with Lethal Torrent for multi-shot and fire rate. Now for the Exiles, you can just leave it blank if you want to. You don't necessarily need lethal momentum because the darts are pretty fast, and you really don't need steady hands either because the weapon doesn't kick that much. And as far as the Arcane is concerned, Secondary Encumber is really good here. It allows us to scale our damage quite a bit more through the condition overload effect from Galvanized Shot, because normally we mostly just proc Puncture and Cold. On a similar note, a good priming pad will help a lot as well. I'm using Good Boy Harold, a hound that's modded for vital, radiation and heat. Hounds are really good for priming because they just carpet bomb the entire room in status effects, so if you can get yourself one of those, I would highly recommend it. This is the kind of stuff that I absolutely love about Warframe. Someone has a build idea, we try it out, we refine it a little bit, and we all have a bunch of fun while doing so. It might not be the best setup in the world, hell, it's probably not even the best setup on the Hystrix, but who cares? We had fun, and that's what it's all about. It's how I've been playing this game for 10 years. Chasing the meta only gets you so far. Having fun though, well, that lasts forever. So I would recommend you give this setup a shot, and it doesn't have to be on the Hystrix. It can be any weapon that does primarily puncture damage and it has decent enough crit and status. Though if you are gonna do it on another weapon, make sure you put in at least a little bit of cold damage so you're proccing both puncture and cold. If, by the way, you have any other suggestions, no matter how silly you think they might be, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I love them. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.